Yeah, good morning. Today's topic is e-cash and e-wallets. And the topic is not new. Every one of you are aware with what is e-cash and what is e-wallet, how we are using e-wallets. And we have started using e-wallets from, I think, mostly all of you were using e-wallets from Paytm. And we are using Paytm mostly after demonetization, right? And when the cashless transactions have been promoted by the government of India and other state governments as well. And we are now frequently using e-wallets in the form of Paytm, Google Pay, and any other pay to cash and others as well. And types of e-wallets, electronic, right? We have electronic cash, basically electronic cash and e-wallets, different types of. We have e-cash, e-wallets, smart cards and credit cards, right? Electronic transactions. We have discussed all this. We have e-cash, e-wallets, smart cards and credit cards, right? And evolution of e-cash, how e-cash has been evolved. As yesterday we were discussing about the e-cash, and conventionally we are using only the hard cash to pay at different shops and different locations. But in case of B2B, we were also using check and demand draft to pay for the payments. But before even invent of the internet and before the use of the internet in the banking system, and if you are paying someone using a check and they both the accounts are in different cities and different locations in different states, then the time period to materialize the payment on pay's account, it takes around 10 to 15 days, because the checks goes to the to whom you are paying. He or she deposits in his or her account the check first, then the check goes to again to the who is paying to you, to that bank, not account but that particular branch, because bank branches were not electronically connected at that time. So physically the check has to move by someone, or by courier, or by e-post to that branch, that particular branch. Then the branch clears the money, that yes, money is available for paying and we are paying to that particular person. Then again the checks moves to that account holders, the person receiving the money, receiver's account, and then it will be credited to receiver's account. The period takes at least from a week to 15-20 days. That was depends upon the distance, locations, where the both the location both the where the how far the both branches were located, how far both branches were located. Even in today, if you are using the conventional check, they are the for payments in a particular city in the same location, then it was taking 2 days to materialize the payment, right? Yes, in 1996, the US government initiated a campaign to create a universal all electronic payment system to decrease the nearly 70 billion paper checks. Paper checks. We are hardly using now paper checks, right? I'm working in graphic era from last 2 years. I have first time issued my checkbook this time. That was again because of some emergency. I have to give the check somewhere, not for the payments, right? For other to some agency. In 1998, the US Treasury Department sponsored a pilot program to test of workability of paying participating federal contracts with e-checks. The second generation of e-cash appeared in late 1990s. Late 90s, 1990s, because e-checks and every transaction we're talking about today is started after 1990s, right? A system that follow a person to pay for goods or services by transmitting a number from one computer to another computer. That is called e-cash. Like the serial numbers on real currency notes, the e-cash numbers are unique. Getting the point? E-cash numbers are unique like the serial numbers on a currency note. System that allows a person to pay for goods or services by transmitting a number from one computer to another computer. This is issued by a bank and represents a specified sum of real money. Specified sum of real money, and these e-cash issued by banks basically. It is anonymous and reusable. Right? Reusable. E-cash processing, the customer using the internet, right, and merchant website pays through the merchant website, then bank networks, connected bank networks, and then merchant bank. This is the way how e-cash processing is done, right, through the internet and through the merchant bank website. Consumer buys e-cash from bank, that is, you are buying e-cash from bank, electronic cash from bank, that is, bank is issuing some numbers to you against the cash. Bank sets e-cash bits to consumer, right? After that amount plus fee. Consumer sends e-cash to merchant. Merchant checks with bank that e-cash is valid, check for forgery or fraud, as in the case of other payment transfers or payment, even if you are transferring, as we have discussed, right, if you are transferring money or using credit card for the payments, every time whether you are using a credit card or debit card, it is validated by the bank, right, whether the money is available or not. Is the account validated through validation through OTP you are receiving on your smartphone? Yes, the original person is transferring the money, who has authority, the account holder itself is transferring the money. This is basically for cross checking for stopping fraud on your bank accounts, right? That is validation is necessary. Bank verifies that e-cash is valid, as in case of credit card similarly or debit card, bank verifies that yes, balance is available with that account. This much balance is available with this account for payment, right? And the authorized person is doing the transaction, that is validated using registered, sending OTP on registered mobile number, right? The parties completes transaction in this way. This is advantages. What are the basic advantages of e-cash? Electronic cash transactions are more efficient and less costly than other methods. Efficient and less costly. The distance that an electronic transaction must travel does not affect cost. Does not affect cost. As I said, in conventional check, if it is traveling very far, then cost will increase with the courier and the transportation cost. The fixed cost of hardware to handle electronic cash is nearly zero. Electronic cash does not require that one party have any special authorization, right? These are the benefits. Electronic cash provides no audit trail because true electronic cash is not traceable. Money laundering is a problem. Money laundering, right? Electronic cash is susceptible to forgery. That we all know, that all the internet transactions are susceptible to forgery, not only electronic cash. And we are developing advanced technologies to stop that and to manage that. Feature of e-cash in 2013. Different types of EMI, right? Net banking 12% and debit cards 11%. Now debit card 15%, credit card 16%. Credit cards are 0%. COD. With most e-commerce players launching their wallets, we believe that third-party wallets will become a significant alternative to COD in coming years. 50% here, 60% it was, but right, That is, these are the comparisons. Digital wallets. E-wallet or digital wallet is a payment scheme that operates like a carrier of e-cash like Paytm. 51% of smartphone users have used their phone to make purchase in some way. 51% making purchase in some or another way, right? And 78% of consumer report being either frequently or sometimes influenced by coupons. We also receives coupons, right? Discount coupon basically. 56% of users want to receive location based offers on their phones when they are near a store. Location based offers, right? So this is basically the comparison between how the trend is going on different direction and functions of e-wallets. An electronic wallet serves a function similar to physical wallet. Yes, physical wallet. Mostly, even from a chai wala to small stationery shops nowadays are receiving Paytm, Google Pay, or Phone Pay transactions. They are receiving, accepting basically. If everyone is accepting in the market, then definitely we the electronic wallet is working similar to a physical wallet. You don't have to carry your physical wallet, right? Even your IDs now you can carry on your smartphone, your driving license and other registration of your bike or scooter or car, right? Insurance, all this, but and your right, any all these IDs you can carry on your smartphone. You can carry cash on your smartphone. So now the need of physical wallet is about to disappear, right? If everyone is receiving Paytm, Google Pay, Phone Pay, so you are paying. We all are using that. Holds credit cards, electronic cash, right? Owner identification and owner contact information. Provides owner contact information at an electronic commerce site checkout counter, right? Stores shipments. This is the function of e-wallet. Stores shipping and billing information, including consumers' first and last names, street address, city, state, country, and GPO or postal code. If we enter on a particular e-commerce website or a particular site on once, then it appears. They saves the information and appears the second time we are going to purchase, and we are on the checkout page, right? Based on where the information is stored, server-side electronic wallet. A server-side electronic wallet stores a customer information on the remote server belonging to a particular merchant or wallet publisher. Getting the point? The Paytm information stored on server side, Paytm server, right? And whenever you are going to pay online using the Paytm or anyone using the Paytm, then that it confirms that yes. And if in case of online payments on the websites, on the payment gateways, we can pay from any other's Paytm account as well, but it sends a OTP again for the confirmation of authenticity and the security on the mobile number using that particular Paytm, right? And then we confirms using that OTP, and the payment can be done from any other Paytm as well. Client-side electronic wallet. A client-side electronic wallet stores customer information on her own computer, on smartphone. Many of the early electronic wallet were client-side wallet that require users to download the wallet software, like these days we are. Types of e-wallet: closed wallet, semi-closed wallet, and open wallet. Based on the usage, three types of wallets are there, right? A closed wallet is one that a company issue to its consumers for in-house goods and services only. These instruments do not carry the advantage of cash withdrawal or redemption. Closed wallets issued by a company to its customers for purchasing, as I have discussed, the cards or the wallets, right? if you are on a shopping mall and they have a food court, the normally food court, different outlets are there on the food court for, right? Different outlets are there, and we can pay them just purchasing a card. And similarly, they are now showing just download a software, load the money, and you can pay. Therefore, that will work only within this food court. Similarly, different fuel agencies like Hindustan Petroleum or Indian Oil, they are issuing their own wallets, and this will be used for only paying on their outlets. When you refill, when you have going for purchasing fuel for your bike or scooter, right? So different types, these wallets are called closed wallets. Similarly, Big Bazaar also have software, closed wallet software, and that will be used only in Big Bazaar or maybe some 1, 2, 3, 4 other purchasing stores. That's all, not everywhere. And semi-closed wallet, a semi-closed wallet can be used for goods and services, including financial services at select merchant locations. Again, it is at select what financial transactions are there, apart from goods or services, or establishments that have a contract with the issuing company to accept these payments instruments. Like an open wallet, such wallets can be used for purchase of goods and services, including financial services such as funds transfer at merchant locations or point of sale terminals that accept cards, and also cash withdrawals at different tailor machines, right? Or business correspondence. We can say my Axis Bank wallet, mobile app can be used for this, can be open wallet, right? And closed wallet is like fuel company, Hindustan Petroleum or Indian Oils, they are also issuing wallet, or a food court of a shopping mall, right? It is in between. Somewhere you can transfer the cash as well, right? And not only purchasing of goods or services. But the first one, closed one, is used for the internal payments or a payment of a company's different locations, like Indian Oil petrol pumps are there everywhere. You can have an Indian Oil wallet and you can pay using that wallet of Indian Oil, right? That is another thing. Similarly, in a food court of a shopping mall, multiple outlets are there. You are using all the wallet will be used only there. The same shopping mall may be in another city and you may use this, right? Like the Reliance trains. Reliance trains, they issue coupons every time you are going for purchasing something from Reliance trains. They mostly gives you coupons for the next purchase, and for the discounts coupons, and these coupons works on all the Reliance outlets. So similarly, Reliance can have a wallet that we call closed wallet, and no need of carrying the coupon, right? No need of carrying these coupons, because you can redeem these points or this much money, 500 rupees coupons on shopping up to particular date on the next time, on the next month, right? So this is closed wallets, which is used in a limited locations, cannot be used for financial transactions. Semi-closed wallets used more than one location, multiple locations. Some financial transaction services are possible. Open wallet, financial services, money withdrawals, everything is possible, right? Paytm also have now Paytm accounts, and you can even withdraw money, right? In Paytm, banks are there now. Process: decide on an online site where you would like to shop. Download a wallet from the merchant's website. Sign up on the website itself to create your digital wallet. Transfer funds from your bank account into your digital wallet. As we transfers or we adds money to our Paytm wallet from our bank account. When you are ready to buy, click on the wallet button. The buying process is fully executed. The digital wallets will check if there is enough e-cash in the wallet, and if yes, then the transaction is completed and the purchase is made, right? This is the process. Google Wallet. Mobile payment system developed by Google allows users to store debit cards, credit cards, loyalty cards, etc. Uses near field communication to make secure payment. Google Wallet payments fast and convenient by tapping the phone on pay press enable terminals. It works with 30 lakh plus MasterCard merchant locations. Similarly, Yahoo has developed. These are the initial days when the Google and Yahoo were developing the eCash and the e-wallets, right? These wallets are not very common in India. Advantages of e-wallet. Now we all know about the advantages of the Paytm or Google Pay. You can pay the electricity bill even by using Google Pay or by Paytm. Convenience. The e-wallet makes online shopping easier because it fills in the field in an online order form automatically, saving you the trouble of doing it yourself. Getting the point? Similarly, if you are paying your electricity bill by using Google Pay or Paytm, then it reminds you next time whatever the bill appears, and you need not to enter your bill number or anything. Everything is there. Just you have to press just pay. Competitive advantage. This is also a great advantage for online merchants because customers sometimes abandon online purchases if they feel that the order form is too confusing or frustrating. That is an important point. Cart abandon. We discussed during the e-commerce in the last unit of the syllabus, right? How we can avoid cart abandonment, and a cumbersome and long checkout form is also a reason for that. If you are using e-wallets, then that will be easier. Greater revenue opportunities. E-wallets open up in new aspects of opportunities and greater potential revenue, right? So this is another benefit of e-wallets. System outages. Information for e-wallets are stored on the cloud or business server. Therefore, the risk of a system multifunction or shutdown is always present. Security. Companies must ensure that their customers' information is encrypted and well protected. We have discussed encryption and decryption, and they are the part of cryptography for encryption, information security basically for the used. And encryption must be used by the companies. The customer information must be encrypted and must not be visible to any other, right? Investment. The initial monetary investment for building a functional e-wallet application is quite large, as it requires the development of the software as well as continual maintenance. That is basically the company part, not the user. Future. Automatic bill payments, as we are using now, bill will be able to make bill payment on behalf of the used by scheduling payment intervals for electronic bills and invoices, as we are doing now using the Google Pay or Paytm. Loyalty redemptions. Real-time reporting of points secured under loyalty schemes. Personal information access, right? Preventive purchasing. Device to device, person to person payments. That is also possible now, right? And this is global e-wallet market from 2013 to 2020. This is 2020 e-wallets market, right? This is 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We all are using electronics wallets now. Everyone is, whether the Paytm or Google Pay or whatever. But in the last 3-4 months, especially during the lockdown period, some frauds have been increased on Google Pay and other. But if you are cautious, then nobody can steal your money using any method, right? If you are not sending your OTP, if you are not sending your cards, credit card number, expiry and CVV to anyone, then it is not possible, right? Thank you. This is for the day about eCash and e-wallets, and we will discuss in detail about the credit cards and the debit cards, how these are functioning, right, and what are the differences in between credit cards or debit cards and all, right. Thank you very much.